1 year ago, Zoe and me, we met in the CRC 1265 because I interviewed her for the assignment of doing videos about the sub-projects of the CRC 1265. And during this interview, I was so fascinated by the topic she is researching on that I always ask her if she has visual material because I found it so interesting. After the interview, Zoe actually came to me and said, why not doing an exhibition together?
And here we are 1 year later in the space where the exhibition is taking place, combining 14 artists from different backgrounds, disciplines, and also shedding light on different topics that are relevant to the topic of spatial conflicts. Spatial conflict refers to the second phase of research of the CRC 1265, which from a perspective of space looks at globalization in the last years since the 1960s. It challenges the notion of having a linear globalization with progress by also looking at contestations, tensions that unfold spatially.
We curated an international exhibition showing in the media of video, painting, photography, collage, installation and performance. We are in a place, gallery project space, which is called Bauhaus Reuse Pavilion. It's located on a roundabout, which is activating a piece of city which is normally not used.
What was most important to us was especially to translate the scientific research we are doing into the visual by bridging research and art, and also make it accessible to a wide audience.
Also maybe to give a different perspective on those topics which are research from the scientists, and also give inspiration for the scientists and as you said, also for a wider audience.
Hello, my name is Maria Linares. I am a Colombian artist. I was born and grew up in Colombia, in Bogotá. The piece I am presenting here, it is called Renombremos el 12 de octubre, which means in English, let's rename October 12th. October 12th is known in the American country as a celebration of the so-called discovery of the Americas. And the name was proposed 1913 by Jose Faustino Rodriguez, who was president of the Ibero-American Union. The Ibero-American Union was a Spanish institution promoting the links between Spain, Portugal, and the American countries. It was known as cultural links, but actually it was a little bit more about economic links, and they were understanding the American continent as the natural market of Spain and Portugal. So that's why it is a little bit problematic and can be seen today as a continuous form of colonialism.
Pueblo, y para los pueblos indígenas en Colombia, el término raza lo asociamos a los animales.
That's why I think it's very good within this exhibition, because colonialism was exactly a problem not only about conquering space, but also about imposing specific understanding of space. Conquerors, they had this understanding of, they came through the American continent and thought that this space was empty. They were not able to understand the perception of indigenous peoples, for example, and their knowledge. They started to establish boundaries and their concepts of space, so that at the end it became a conflict, spatial conflict.
La raza es un sistema de opresión que se basa principalmente en realizar diferencias desde el color de la piel, que tiene consecuencias.
Renaming the day of the so-called race, which is a very racist and European-centric perspective. It's also about considering different perspectives. As a part of the project, I started it as an initiative to rename this celebration, this holiday. There was one that I like very much. It was the suggestion Abya Day. And Abya is a term used by the Kuna peoples. It is very poetical. It's something like continent in full ripeness or lots of flowers. This is the only one suggestions that doesn't speak about human beings. I think that maybe we are getting to an end of the Anthropocene. Like, human beings are not anymore in the center of the discussion, but the geography, the space, everything within it.
Hi, my name is Paula Kaniewska. I'm a visual artist and researcher. And for this exhibition, I presented part of my project, The Pollen Market is Back. I've shown two posters. One presents objects which I photographed during a research stay at one of the border markets on the Polish-German border. These border markets are called Pollenmärkte, so Polish markets, although not so many things sold there are actually coming from Poland. And that was also a point of my interest, to look what objects are sold there and what objects people buy. So on one of the posters, I've shown every object that participants in the study that I conducted together with sociologist Vivian Zomer at this market have shown us. We asked people passing by, could you please show us your shopping bag? And then ask them several questions like, why did you buy this? What influenced your decision? Then I was thinking how to rework this material, because what I arrived at, I had a collection of single objects, and behind each object there was a story. These were individual narrations. And the market is also a whole, like it's an entity, one can say, where people meet, but also where things meet. One can say it's a place of spatial conflicts, but also of spatial encounters and exchanges. And this I tried to show through a second set of posters, which are basically a digital collage. I multiplied in Photoshop the objects that I photographed, and then just like created kind of all over picture where things superimpose, and they are not as important anymore as individual objects, but just as a collection, as an entity. I created a diptych. I just took one of the posters from the bigger collage and put it next to the one with singular objects. I think it's also an interesting contrast for me to look at these things as parallel, to maybe think about different methods that they can represent. The one with singular objects can be more like a scientific approach with looking at things individually, a bit like a butterfly collection. And then the other is like a synthesis, or trying to understand the processes that happen at the market. The title of the tours I presented here is It Was a Reward. It's a quote from one of the interviews, but I also thought that all these objects, in a way, are a reward. And that's often how we think about shopping or buying things, that, yeah, we deserve this or we've earned it. And this is how people want to, maybe make up for things that don't work, or just like satisfy some needs or dreams.
Hi, I'm Lynn Kane. I'm an interior designer and an artist. I'm originally from Lebanon, but I live now in Canada, in Toronto. My artwork is a series of portraits in different mediums, mixed media. Some are in acrylic on canvas, and the others are like metal mesh with papier-mâché to show the layers of emotion for the people who are moved and displaced to live in a new environment, and how they are related to their roots. So it shows all the emotions that they live through in that new environment. Each portrait expresses different emotions, from sorrow to anger to hope and resilience. And then in the mesh structure, you can see the melting faces, which represent like the deep emotions that immigrant or migrated people feel once they are displaced, and how to integrate in the new society they are living in. So my artwork concept journey for disillusionment is to reflect the feeling of the immigrants or refugees when they arrive to a new country. They seek peace, and they discover how the Western countries they are seeking refuge in them. They have the direct effect in injustice and violence to the countries of origin.
Hello, my name is Hara Singh. I'm working with mainly video, film, and multimedia installation. I'm very interested in how we collaborate with non-human entities, or how we live together, or how we communicate with non-human in the context of decolonial method or the feminism or ecological thinking. I presented a film in this exhibition, Spatial Conflicts. I filmed 3 different locations, through body, plant, soil, or water. I would like to express about the anthropocentric violence related in death, migration, or disease. I researched the story about in the past, but I would like to say that they don't die or they don't stagnate in the past, but they are still living in our surroundings. When I make the film, I made a non-linear storytelling with the multi-layered time-based image and the sound. I mixed together, and I would like to there's something hybrid state with the various occasion and various time and then various space and time.
Yeah, hey, my name is Mona Ruiz. I'm a visual artist and recently researching as an associate member at the CRC 1265. In my artistic work, I research how space is created and formed through movement, memories, and narratives. I try to understand it through movement spaces, homemaking, and biographies that I collect through narratives. Since 2016, I started to collect spatial biographies. That means that I let describe me spatial ideas, imaginations of space by various participants, interviewees, and I visualize them later in drawings. And this work that I present here in this exhibition is based on that long-term project. I went during 3 years to a house where seniors are living and they are suffering under dementia. And I collected their ideas and spatial experiences during their whole life and visualized their memories into drawings, which I brought them back in repetitive meetings. And through that they had their album, their books with my drawings, we could get into a kind of finding of how they perceive space during the time of having a fragile memory. What we see here now is a portrait of one person that I visited 16 times. And I coded the conversations that I had with him sentence per sentence and realized that he related himself to various persons in his surrounding, in his life. And now what we can see is the materialization of those conversations in form of a site-specific installation. What is materialized here now in space are 8 conversations of these 16. Each string is representing one conversation. Each paper strip is referring to one sentence, and the colors refer to the relatives, friends, himself, to the social environment. So the colors represent people, persons. And the kinetic landscape that we have here now and that is hovering upon us now is somehow giving us an experience of this fragile remembering.
My name is Janine Walter. I'm an artistic researcher and urbanist. For this exhibition, I brought 2 pieces of paintings which are called communication because it refers to cultural conflicts. I experienced myself in Oman. What is the relation to a spatial conflict is that because of the globalization, people are coming together, working together, so the whole movement of people and goods increased, let's say. And because of that, there was wish to bring more cultural knowledge into the country. And therefore, Oman decided to found a German Omani university. This is the base of the cultural conflict because young Omanis were taught European planning and they learn European planning language. And now they are all working in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning and transforming their country. And of course, they are inviting a lot of European planning offices to do the projects together with them. And what happens is that because they are using this European planning language, a kind of impression comes into existence that the communication is the same. like in Europe and in Oman. But it is totally not the case. And because of this kind of assumption, let's say, a lot of cultural conflicts occur because of different communication styles. And just to wrap it up, these kind of experiences I made in those conflicts, I transferred to abstract paintings, which are presentation of dynamics, of tensions, of reliefs, of different kind of communication phases, let's say.
My name is Carlos Medellin. I'm Colombian. I'm an architect. And this project is called I Don't Want to Talk About the Weather. For me, it's very important to try to get deeper in the conversations I have. And talking about the weather is used often to say that you're talking superficial things. And I want to go deeper about that. At the same time, it's also my way of saying that the environmental catastrophe that we're living needs more attention and needs a deeper understanding. I started using tarot as a way for exploring my connection with myself, with my queerness as a gay man, but also with everything that I can't understand from my consciousness. The way of learning tarot for me was committing to draw one tarot card every day. After years of doing that, another concern came to my mind. I was connecting better with my indigenous ancestry from Colombia, with the Muisca people and with the people from the Andes. They had a different relationship with the environment. Most of the things that we know about them have been said through the eyes of the colonizers. So my way of building a relationship with them has been going to museums and private collections and try to understand the ancestral artifacts that are held in those museums. This project is my daily practice of building that relationship, and it has been materialized into a tarot deck with iconography of those pieces that I have been connecting with, but also trying to add a new layer of knowledge and understanding of the tradition of tarot by also bringing the tradition of different people and different cultures from the Andes. The other important part of this project is that I ended up being obsessed about the idea of El Dorado, of the myth, and all of the pieces and cultures I have been drawing are connected with exploration that the colonizers went to do in the Americas, looking for El Dorado. As I'm Colombian, I'm from Bogota, that's a topic that touches me because I see it all the time. So the legend of finding a city made out of gold, in reality, was fed by a traditional ritual that Muisca people did to honor the land and to generate life by offering the gold, which was a gift from the sun to the water. The Europeans misunderstood completely the power of that ritual and started trying to extract that gold and those offers.